doesn't need to take much time, and that's why you might want to switch up the openings, because you know your opponent can play pretty fast there and play well. At least try something different. Because, yeah, Denis, the momentum is clearly on one side, and it's a very rare sight to see when it comes to Hikaru.
In terms of the openings, do you think Hikaru needs to do away with some of the positions that he's been getting so far? I'm thinking about that English. Is Denis going to stick with it when it comes to the bullet? I see no reason not to as Hikaru enters the arena to face off in an all-important 30 minutes of bullet chess.
For Hikaru, this isn't one of the biggest matches of his life, but for Denis Lazavik, he has a chance to close out a match against Hikaru Nakamura. And we know how up to it he is.
The thing is, you can play 2.5 hours of amazing blitz chess, speed chess, but it can all change in the last 30 minutes of bullet. So this is what it's all come down to, an incredibly focused Hikaru Nakamura, and for good reason. The comeback is on. Can Hikaru, one of the most experienced and certainly one of the best bullet players in the world, use that time control to his advantage to take down Denis?
And here we go with the first bullet game in English.
Yep, he's gone
why
back
change
to
it?
Yep, I like that. However, Hikaru, also something different, right? We're seeing the fianchetto of the bishop on g7 to match the white bishop on g2.
One thing about Lazavik, it's rare to see him tilt. Tilt is a factor that comes more in blitz, happens to us. When it comes to Denis, so composed, seems to just be getting better every single day.
Now, a6, a slow move. Again,
that looks funny.
The accuracy in bullet, it doesn't need to be super high, but I think that the way that Denis is playing is with a lot of confidence. Probably see that knight on c3, look to reroute. It could be to e4 and c5, and you can complete development with a move like queen d2. He decides to take first.
And by playing the a4 and b4 means you're ready to meet c6 with potentially b5. What we see here is that white can maybe shift the queen over to c2, target c7. I don't like a5. Now I'll play b5 and definitely target c7 with queen c2, rook c1.
This is bullet, so an easy plan like queen c2 and rook c1 is very nice. c7 is tough to defend. You're probably going to have to put a rook on c8, or if you push the pawn, white's going to capture. It's going to be an easy target.
Hikaru's an active player, so he goes rook e8, rook c1, expecting that.
He's looking for f5, but
f5 is very
risky
risky because f5 I might go knight c5. In bullet, I'll sack the c2 pawn, e2 pawn if you're going to open everything up.
Absolutely.
Now bishop f5, if you were to trade that bishop for the knight, white's bishop is not blocked by any pawns, even though it's opposite bishops. Huge advantage for white.
Yeah, and
so I don't like bishop f5.
No, and now the pawn cannot go to f5. So you've removed that from the position. The position is not that dangerous, but there's easy pressure on c7 in bullet. Sometimes the simplest of plans and activity is enough.
Maybe rook c6. Opposite bishops, I'd still prefer white, even though it's very solid.
But Hikaru has now moved the bishop away, so I think f5 is coming. And the one achievement, which is why white just rerouted the knight, is that the bishop was covering c7. If that black bishop guards c7, Hikaru can focus on expanding the kingside pawns.
Time to make some waiting moves. They're under 20 seconds. c7's hit.
Yeah, you can go back to g5.
h4. Oh, okay.
I think if he wants to play on, he will go for something like h4. It looks like a good move anyway. But he's got the lead. He's going to protect it with a draw.